All right, let's get started. All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 5 of Recliner Sports Talk. My name is Nick.
I'm Brandon.
You see, we are getting into the festive mood here. I'm wearing my little Mickey Mouse Christmas shirt, and I have my nice vintage Sixers hat with the green underneath here. And Brandon, you want to talk about your outfit?
I literally do not own a Christmas sweater. I don't know. Don't ask me why, but I have a little hat at least. So there's that.
There you go. Hey, festive. That's all you can ask. All right. Well, why don't we get into things here? Today, going to talk about NBA. We're going to talk about college football. We're going to talk about the Steelers. Woof. And then we're going to talk about our top 5 college football bowls / championship games of our memories. Okay. So again, of our memories. So yes, there might have been something that's been a great game in 1970, but
Yeah.
we were not there. Okay. So talk on that effectively. So let's get right into it. NBA, and guess what? I'm going to call this segment NBA Opening Day Overreactions. Yes, that is a mouthful, but that's what I think this was. So Brandon, you want to get it kicked off here?
Wow. All right. First off, I want to say that Jason Tatum shot that he made, he did not mean to bank that in. I don't know if you saw it, the game-winning shot. Although Milwaukee still had a shot with 0.4 seconds left, not a foul, bad call. But guess what? Ball doesn't lie. Giannis missed the free throw, so Boston won anyway. Gosh, man, I watched a lot of games yesterday. Man, I can't believe Denver lost for one. Sacramento, what? Come on. Jamal Murray didn't have a really good game, but I mean, it's one game. Portland lost by 20. I know Utah's good, but hey, I said Portland wouldn't make the playoffs this year, and I'm gonna stand by it. They didn't impress me.
Overreactions. Here we go.
Hey, Charlotte, what the hell? LaMelo Ball, 0 of 5 shooting. We know he's not an efficient scorer.
We knew that. He couldn't.
We know it. Cleveland made Charlotte look bad. And Gordon Hayward had a good game, and they still lost by a lot.
Like the undersized middle schooler still. That's what he looks like. Gosh, it's horrible.
I know. Indiana, I said they'd be fighting the Wizards for that 8 seed. Hey, they look good.
Really good for them.
The Sixers, it didn't impress me. They didn't. Now the Wizards look better than I thought they would. I think Westbrook, as much as I hate on the guy, yes, he's not going to be the most efficient guy, but I think he works well with Bradley Beal. Someone else has to step up for the Wizards, though. That's their issue. That's going to be their issue. Thomas Bryant, not very good. But going to talk about the Sixers, Tobias Harris, man, I don't know. He's not worth a max contract. Danny Green missed at least four wide open 3-pointers last night. At least. Dude, if Simmons is getting you the ball, Simmons takes the double team, passes it out to you, you have to make the shot. That's what you're getting paid for. You just have to make an open 3-point shot. Seth Curry played. You can do that all you want. Seth Curry played well. He's a Curry. I mean, come on. We all know he would play well. The Sixers, they're going to have to, it's the first game. We're not going to overreact here, but they will need to.
The name of the segment is overreacting.
Hey, Embiid, you see the fourth quarter he put on? I'm the biggest Joel Embiid hater, and I will give him his props. He played well.
Guess what quarter he usually struggles in?
The fourth. Nah, he turned it up in the fourth. I appreciate what he did. He played well. What else? The Pelicans. Pretty solid. The Magic. Pretty solid. You know what? Evan Fournier, Nikola Vucevic, Markelle Fultz, big contract he just signed. I don't know, man. Magic got a squad. They got a deep squad. Right. And talking about the game from the other night, the Warriors, if Wiggins and Oubre shoot a combined 20% like they did, no way in hell they win any games this year. I mean, those two guys have to make shots. I think Oubre was 3 of 16, if I'm not mistaken. You're not going to win basketball games if you're jacking up and you're missing like that. And Wiggins, Jesus Christ. Yeah, Warriors didn't look good. Now I do think the Nets are really, really good. I mean, we all know that Kyrie and Durant are individually talented, but hey, Dinwiddie, Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, Jarrett Allen, man, underrated center, really good. He could start on almost every single team. I think the Nets are really good. I'll stop talking and let you talk, but yeah, Nets, watch out.
All right. The name of the segment is Overreacting. So I'm going to overreact. Nets, they looked really good. And that sucks for the East. And guess what? You know what the worst part? They didn't just look good dribbling. They didn't just look good passing. They didn't just look good shooting. They didn't just look good with Steve Nash looking all dapper on the sidelines there, head coach. They played amazing defense. I don't know if you watch that game. They're so long. They have long arms. Hey,
Good.
Harris was in the paint, bodying people defensively. He's supposed to be a three-point shooter, and he was getting after on defense end. I don't know if it's Steve Nash, Stoudemire, whoever it is over there, telling those guys, we got to play defense win this year. Teams don't play defense that hard first game of the year, and they did. So that makes me think, can they last this long in the season? Because we all know those good defensive teams do play good defense, but they're not going that hard from game one. And that's kind of one of the knocks on the NBA, right? The defense, they could play like that. Yo, I don't know who is stopping them. Because at any time, KD, by the way, KD, gotta work, shave it, get the baldy out there. That hair did not look good. Maybe Kyrie's burning some crazy sage out there.
Yeah, what the hell is he burning?
Guess what? They looked really good against the bum Warriors. Okay,
they're bum.
I think Draymond.
I'll admit it. They looked bum.
Draymond being out, not having Clay. They just got to learn to play together. We have no preseason games.
Yeah.
Two preseason games, not a long camp. They haven't played together in a long time. I think that's what hurts them. I think
their bench is not good.
Now we have, like you said, are the Magic for real? I think the Fultz signing was stupid, but there's a lot of players not playing. Isaac's right; he's been hurt.
Yeah.
Mo Bamba, great song, didn't even play.
2 top 5 picks.
But again, Aaron Gordon, this is your year, bud. You're kind of that age now where it's like, are you good? Or are you just the guy that looked cool in the dunk contest? Fournier, Vucevic, Fultz. I think Cole Anthony is just as good as Fultz, in my opinion. That's why I was kind of shocked about the signing, because I was like, well, you just kind of got a guy. Now, first overall pick, former Sixer, Fultz. Obviously, he had a good game, but he didn't fit well in the Sixers. That's what I think. I think the Magic are kind of real, but again, they have some big injuries. So will that hurt them in the long run? I don't know.
I forgot one team, Atlanta. Holy hell. How bad is Atlanta's good. I think we all think Atlanta's good, but the Bulls are brutal. They have the worst defense in the NBA.
Yeah. Bulls suck, and we kind of knew that. All right. Sixers, guess what? They struggled. They had some dry spells in the game. And guess what, Brandon? Who won that game?
Yeah, but they played a bad Washington
team. That game, and I think the Wizards are going to be a good team. All right? I don't like Russ, just like you don't like Embiid, but guess what? They played well. Beal's a dog. They're going to get Rui, however you say his name, back, who is a starter for them. I think they're going to be all right. They got some rookies that played a lot last night. And young guys, they're going to keep gaining experience. I think the Wizards are good, and I hope they are, because that was showing that the Sixers took care of business, not playing well. All right? Dwight Howard. I don't know if you saw after the game, Dwight and Ben Simmons were working on their jump shots together at the end of the game. This is a hungry team. Now, listen, Doc didn't look too happy during the game, but guess what? They got the job done, and that's what good coaches do. I love some Brett Brown, but Doc, guess what? He's going to get those boys right. And guess what? We don't need them to peak right now, Brandon. Need them to peak later in the season around the playoffs.
Why didn't your boy Thibault play?
Huh?
Your boy Thibault didn't play that much.
Other guys were playing.
Maxey played a lot.
I admitted it. Thibault is going to be the odd man out. I said that, I think, last episode.
Yeah. Well, Shake Milton, shout out. He had a really good game.
And Furkan have been balling, shooting like crazy. Kind of like what that Bellinelli and Ilyasova, those type of guys
Ilyasova, yeah.
were doing when the Sixers made that run against the Raptors there. Boston Bucks, we knew both those teams were going to be good. It showed in their game. Okay, it took a last second shot there to win it, and then obviously the Bucks had their chance. Giannis can't shoot. We've talked about it. He's
He
Ben
can't.
Simmons. I don't care what they say. He's Ben Simmons. Him and Ben Simmons both are the same. Pelicans, if I could put the eyes emoji right here.
Good, man.
All right. Listen,
Good.
they're good and they're young. Now, can they keep all that talent here when really they're not winning it this year? I don't care how good they are. They're not beating the Lakers, right? Or they probably could beat the Clippers. We'll get into that later. But again, Pelicans, they're young. They're exciting. I hope they're well because I like seeing these young, exciting teams do well. So again, maybe they're sitting down there with Breeze, chilling. Keep good sports down there, right? Why not go to New Orleans? Seems like a fun town. I've never been. I'd love to go. But hey, I like that team. Clippers and Lakers, go ahead, have the West. I think they proved that, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And
but they're very good.
And I think the Lakers are going to take a step back regular season wise, but at the end of the day, they're playing for one thing. They're playing for the playoffs.
You're right.
Playing for a championship, and they just got done playing not too long ago. So the West goes through LA. Denver lost. And again, Suns looked really good. Hey, everybody that's on the CP3, it wasn't because of him. He had 8 points, 5 assists, 2 steals. Guess what? The Suns are good. Booker's good. And guess what? Dario Saric, who's kind of their bulldog, former Sixer,
he's good.
Play because of thigh soreness. So when he comes back, there gets that aggressiveness right back into things. I think the Suns, I didn't know if they're going to make it. I think they do, but it's not because of Chris Paul. Chris Paul might play himself out of a starting role. We'll have to see there. But again, Suns, watch out. And that's our NBA talk. Anything else you want to talk about there, Brandon?
I just want to say Steven Adams on the Pelicans, tremendous get for New Orleans. Tremendous. He fits perfectly with that team. Because you can't have all young guys. You got to have that one. Right. Man, Adams set screen. He does all the dirty work for you. He works perfectly with Zion, Brandon Ingram. You know, as much as we hate on Lonzo Ball, man, he doesn't even need to shoot.
No, exactly. And 2, they say JJ Redick yells at him to shoot all the time.
And JJ Redick, that team, man, if they come together from a chemistry purpose, and they watch out. Because they have talent. Brandon Ingram, you can hate on him all you want. He is good. He is very good. Zion Williamson has the potential to be an all-NBA guy, top 15 guy in the league. They have talent. Steven Adams, man, great pickup. I love that.
So we'll see. Hey, can someone take down LA in the playoffs? And anyway, Paul George, too. We saw the video our buddy Warner sent us. The video of Paul George. God, he's 2 tails of a player in a game. He had horrible plays, air balls, passes to the ref. And then he goes and he's a bucket. So again, can he be consistent? Can he not show that game in, game out? We'll have to see. Obviously, they have a good bench. And 2, I think it could be something the Nets fall into this year. All this hype, great bench, and then they just run into a good team in the playoffs, and that's it.
True. I'm going to be honest, though. Westbrook, man, he looks worse at shooting. I've never seen someone, a guard, airball more shots in my life. Why? We're talking wide open shots. He will brick an airball. I don't get it.
Yeah, and I think they have guys around him that can shoot. So if he can play that distributor, which is going to be tough for him, we'll have to see.
He was never that bad of a shooter, though. Like, the last 4 years when he's averaged, like, the triple-double, it has gone way downhill, his shooting ability.
Yeah. And 2, I think, again, this is the last time I'm going to talk about it. I think Sixers, Nets, Boston Sixers, Boston Nets, if one of those 3 or all those 3 teams are in that Eastern Conference Finals, it's going to be a fun series. Any of those 3 teams.
Nets might be my number 1 pick now. I'm going to be honest.
All right. Well, all right. That's NBA talk again. We're going to continue to talk NBA. Let me turn my hat back around, more serious here. No more overreacting, but it might have to come right back around because now we're going to talk about the Steelers. Brandon, Steelers, What's
Holy
going
shit.
on there?
Oh my God. Well, yes, they were out. Connor last game. But Benny Snell, who's been horrendous other than that first game versus the Giants, had a good game. So it wasn't his fault. Juju Smith-Schuster, what a clown. I mean, we all know that TikTok shit is hilarious. Why the hell does he do it? He's a grown-ass man in the NFL. That's a different point. But Steelers, they are now out Bud Dupree, who really good pass rusher. Watt is banged up. They're down Devin Bush. They're down Shazier from obviously that catastrophic injury he had. Their defense is kind of vulnerable moving forward, and you don't want to limp into the playoffs with a injured defense and a losing streak. So I think the Steelers are fake. They're going to get bounced round one, whoever they play. I don't care if it's Cleveland, Baltimore, Indianapolis, anyone. Miami will beat them. I don't see the Steelers doing anything. Their offense, they drop the ball so much. Deontay Johnson, man, what the hell? He cannot catch to save his life. He's very good, but he can't catch. It's frustrating. I'm a Giants fan, so I know Evan Ingram. I'm going to bring this up briefly. Why the hell did he make the Pro Bowl? As a Giants fan, I can admit it, the dude sucks. He has the most drops in the NFL. Why did he make the Pro Bowl? Tanyan has better stats than him. Evan Ingram has 1 touchdown. Tanyan has 10 touchdowns. He ties Travis Kelce with the lead for tight end touchdowns. Why is he not in the Pro Bowl and Evan Ingram is? Back to the Steelers.
Yeah, I was going to say, where'd we go? Well, let me overreact on Steelers. Steelers, you lose Watt. You guys can't catch. Ben looks like he's a biscuit away from 300, okay? Let me tell you, the Steelers, how about being the worst 11-0 team of all time? Did I just say that? The worst 11-0 team of all time? They might lose out because they play the Colts. They play Cleveland. That's their last 2 games. Those are 2 playoff teams. They could beat Cincinnati and Washington. How are they supposed to beat these 2 teams? What? Come on out of here. So again, Juju, I think I would have figured it out. It would have been, let me eat my words a week or 2 ago. Let me stop dancing on the logo. Like, what are you proving? Hey, you haven't had a 100-yard receiving game since your boy Brown left.
Yeah, and that's a fun stat.
Who do you think you are? Doing this stuff. I know I sound like the old guy here, but guess what? Chase Claypool, he's on TikTok too. He's not doing that. There's a difference. You can be the social media guy. It's different than going out on the field and disrespecting their logo, doing the dances, because obviously you're doing it on purpose to disrespect the other team. Once it's been said once, twice, 3 times, and you're still doing it. Have you ever seen the T.O. film when he's dancing on, the logo? People know what you're doing, all right? It's messed up.
Yeah, these are grown men.
Now the target's on your back. You got popped right on that logo, all right? That direct karma. That was all over TikTok too. So listen, Big Ben, I don't know how much credibility you have in that locker room. I'm sure you got a lot for being Big Ben, but y'all got to figure it out. Tomlin, y'all got to figure it out because guess what? I see a lot of money going to our buddy Zach's pocket, who made a bet that the Steelers, when they were still undefeated, won't win their first playoff game. They won't win a playoff game this year. And guess what? It's looking like it might come true. So we'll have to see. That's my reaction, however you want to say on the Steelers. I'll turn my hat back around.
I know, man. I don't get the NFL. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean,
how do you go 11-0 and lose to the Cincinnati Bengals with a 3rd-string quarterback?
Here's the thing. That's the thing. The tank, right? The tank happens in basketball. It happens in baseball. But in football, you almost are like, you could get seriously injured if you're trying to tank and stuff. Guys are trying to still make rosters on these bad teams.
Exactly.
Become good when they become free agents. Okay. So again, I don't know how much tanking is a thing in any sport, but the NFL just proves that you can't tank because these guys are still professionals and on any day can still go out and get it done. So I don't know. That's kind of my take on the whole tanking, Steelers, Cincinnati, all that type of stuff. Any other NFL stuff you want to talk about, Brandon?
No, but I was going to talk about the college football games here.
All right. Well,
So
why
I'm
don't
ready
we
for
move on
that.
to that? So, kind of college football here. Brandon, do you want to go talk first? Maybe you want to talk about one team, and I'll give my talk about it, and so on and so forth.
Gotcha.
All right.
Like the top four, I think, I said this last week. I think the top four: Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Even if Clemson loses, I have them in. They sure as hell didn't lose. I'll talk Clemson. Trevor Lawrence, holy hell! I mean, yes, I knew he was the best player in college football, but last week, man, that dude is something else. I mean, I'm talking Peyton Manning talent. And that is, I'm not going to say that about anyone, man. He does it all. And he's more athletic than you think. I mean, the reason ETN went off is because
Yeah.
Lawrence is that dual threat. You don't know if he's going to give it to ETN or not. So that makes instead of zeroing in on Travis Etienne, if you're Notre Dame, now you'll have to worry about two guys on each play.
Yeah.
And Lawrence could say, shit, I'm not going to hand it off or run. I'm going to just throw it because I'm the best quarterback. I'm the best player. And then you're done. I mean, what do? You can't. He's literally that good. And I want to give a shout out to Lawrence. He graduated in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Smart guy.
I mean, you and I went to college. I barely graduated in 4. How the hell is he playing for Clemson at an elite level, practicing every day? I mean, hats off to him.
All right. Well, I'll go on my Clemson talk here. I didn't have much written because at the end of the day, it's Clemson, right? Clemson's now in that Alabama, Ohio State type role here where it's, all right, they're good. You know what I mean? And Notre Dame's getting back to that. And they kind of have that aura around them of it doesn't matter who's at quarterback. It doesn't matter who's out there. As long as there's that orange and purple out there with Dabo at the helm, just like Bama, just like Ohio State right now, they're likely the favorites every time. Now, here's the thing I think that no one's going to talk about. If Trevor Lawrence goes down, there's no better backup in college football.
There isn't.
Right now. And I'm not saying because he's the best, most talented backup, but he's already played in the biggest game against a team that's in the playoff.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, again, I think that's a big confidence thing. It was like, we do have the best player in college football. And if he gets hurt, we can still get it done, especially when you have Etienne as their backfield. They were killing some slants out there, those type of throws. I want to see some deep passes. We'll see if that opens up, obviously, Ohio State there, DBU. We'll see. I think Clemson is in Alabama territory now.
They are. And you know what's crazy? They don't even have their best receiver, Justin Ross. What the hell? They're really good.
All right. What's the next team you want to talk about, Brandon?
I'll talk Alabama. Man, Mac Jones impressed me. He does. But the reason why Mac Jones's numbers are so well, Devontae Smith, I vote for him as the Heisman winner. I would. That would be my vote.
Yeah. It's crazy for receivers, right, for that, because at the end of the day, you're like, well, the quarterback threw them all. So
yeah, but the reason why Mac's number is so good because of Smith. I mean, the dude has like 100 receptions in 11 games or something outrageous like that. But even last year when Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs were on there and Waddle was healthy, dude, Smith looked like the best receiver out of all of them last year.
Yeah, well, here
they're going to have 4. Those 4 guys are going to be first round. We already know Ruggs and Jeudy are first rounder. I think Waddle is. I think Smith is first receiver, second receiver taken. I think Jamar Chase is first receiver. But holy crap, Alabama's offense. Their defense, though, I think Clemson wins the national championship because Alabama's defense isn't that good. And I trust Clemson's defense a little bit more. I think both of their offenses are on par with each other. So I actually believe Clemson wins the national championship.
All right. Well, I say the same thing about Bama. You got Mac Jones, you have your quarterback. All right. When you have a quarterback in college football, it elevates you right away, right? At any level. And then you have Nick Saban. Okay. Got a quarterback. You got Nick Saban. Oh, and the Crimson Tide. All right. They're really good. They have that aura around them again, like I said. Devontae Smith is 98 receptions, 1,511 yards receiving, 17 touchdowns, everybody. And
in 11 games.
yeah, I'm gonna tell you this. He probably hasn't been playing all full games.
No.
Okay. So again, oh, Brandon, do you remember 2, 3 years ago, Tua's coming out party,
Yeah.
the national
Look who his
championship game?
wideouts were.
Do you know who caught the game-winning touchdown to win the national championship against Georgia? Devontae Smith. All right. Don't know if you knew that. The
As a
man's been
sophomore.
around. The man has been around. He's
Oh, yeah.
big time plays, and he's the best receiver in college football right now. So again, everybody was talking about Mac Jones, but like you said, Devontae Smith. Oh boy. Now listen. Here's the thing with Alabama. I thought Trask. People said he played great. I thought he did some stupid things. But what's always Alabama's weakness, Brandon? On their defense? What's always their weakness?
Well, it's usually secondary, even though they have top secondary guys. Like they've had Fitzpatrick, they have Surtain this year. Surtain, everyone's talking like he's a top 5 pick. I don't see it. I really don't. I don't get that.
Well, one thing they always have in common, if you have a mobile quarterback, okay? Guess
Yeah.
what Clemson, Notre Dame, and Ohio State all have? Guys that can move around the pocket and can run the ball. Now, we'll get to Notre Dame in a second. Notre Dame, if they want a chance, Ian Book's got to run effectively. And I really believe that. He's got to run and he's got to play. And you could say that about anybody. So maybe, how about we hop into Notre Dame? I'll start off here.
Yeah.
If Ian Book can step up and put pressure on them running the ball, passing the ball, and they can get some type of running game going with the running backs, I don't care how good your defense is. When you have to worry about a pass, a quarterback run, a running back run, guess what? It's a lot tougher on the defense. So I think Ian Book, you look 30 years old, okay? I know you're still in college here. But again, can he get it done? And Brian Kelly, stop saying this stuff about you saying, oh, if they don't have fans, I want to be. Your players hear this. I wouldn't want to hear that as a player. I'd be like, Coach, I don't care if we're playing on the concrete outside my house here and there's no fans but the little kid that lives across the street. I don't care. We're playing football and we're competing for a national championship. I would hate to hear my coach say that. So I think Brian Kelly's being very soft. Now, guess what? You can't say you don't have support. Notre Dame's one of the most supported teams in the entire country by fans, old and young. You have that aura about you from your past. Can you start bringing it back again? You know what I mean? We saw they're 0-5 in their last New Year's Day and college football playoff games. Like, come on. This could be your turnaround. You could beat #1 Alabama. You have the opportunity. Why say, well, this isn't our year? You see the video of the old lady going nuts because they have to play Alabama and she's scared of Alabama. Why not this year? Okay, why not? Brandon, I know this is your team. Go ahead and talk.
Before I get into Notre Dame, I do want to say Alabama's linebackers are not good this year. That's usually Alabama's
they're not
thing.
Alabama level. They're still good. They're not Alabama level.
They're not like CJ Moes, like
Hightower.
They've had good linebackers. Yeah, Hightower. They're weak at the linebacker position. But talking about Notre Dame, don't get me started on Ian Book. Man, he is frustrating to say the least. Last week versus Clemson, man, he would not pull the trigger on any throw. He was trying to The only time that Book was able to get a pass off is he would scramble around when Notre Dame, honestly, pretty good pass protection initially. You have to get rid of the ball. He's afraid to throw it in tight windows, which, cool, whatever. But you're not going to win games versus Clemson if you are not taking shots. You can't do it. You can't dump down. And they were stacking the box versus the run and saying, hey, Ian Book, beat us. And guess what? Ian Book is not going to beat you. Notre Dame will not win with Ian Book. And it sucks to say, but he hasn't shown me in his college career that he can do it. Their defense, I said it last week, they're vulnerable versus the deep pass. What happened in that first half? Trevor Lawrence, boom, guess what? Cornerback got beat. I know Amari Rodgers is really fast, whatever. they're vulnerable. What do you think Devontae Smith's going to do? And who knows? Maybe Waddle will come back. I don't know. Man, Notre Dame secondary, they're good. They're slow. They're slow. You can't be slow.
Yeah, and
Notre Dame's notorious for being slow in the secondary.
Slow secondary, you got to play a type of zone, right? Well,
yeah.
Are you going to play zone and then be vulnerable to the run a little bit? They got to. And again,
exactly.
You guys get paid a lot more money. They watch a lot more film than I do, so they probably know this stuff, right? It's say, hey, can we outsmart them and as tough against the Nick Saban team? Can you outsmart them? Can you change some coverages up? Can you go man in certain situations? And then can you go zone in some certain situations? Is Mac Jones going to be able to adjust to all the adjustments? Who knows? We'll have to see.
As a Notre Dame fan, man, I hate when people attack Notre Dame. I get defensive, but Alabama should win by 25. I hate to say it.
Tough there. All right, and then last we'll talk about my team here. All right, so where else do you get a vlog or however you'd like to call this, where both our favorite teams are in the college football playoffs? Ohio State, okay. Ohio State, Trey Sermon, what a game. What a game. I said it. Look, listen, Master Teague, too, didn't play great. And, okay, Ohio State, listen to this. Their whole O-line was all conference, whether it's first, second, or third team. The entire O-line. And their tight ends are also blocking. So here's what I'm going to say here. Ohio State, if you could get something out of Justin Fields passing, he threw for under 50% completion percentage last game. Now, Olave being out's big, okay? You're exposing yourself, Fields. You're dropping in that draft, and Haskins ain't helping you, okay? But again, if Olave comes back, Big Ten, I'm not sure. I haven't seen if they've said, okay, Olave can come back, change the rules about the COVID protocol. But they have proven they can run it. It doesn't matter who's running it. They can run it. Justin Fields can run it too. But if they do not complete passes, Clemson is going to shut it down. Now, we've seen Justin Fields can complete passes, and he played very well last year against Clemson. So can we get that same type of thing? Now, the thing that Ohio State is missing, even though that Sermon rushed really well, they don't have a J.K. Dobbins that just takes it 60 yards without getting hawked down. Sermon got hawked down a lot. He had some really big runs, but they were always hawked down. They don't have that guy besides Olave that takes that top off the defense. So it'll be interesting to see, what does Ryan Day do? What does he scheme up? Because I think they'll be able to score if Justin Fields passes, and their defense will play well enough. I'm not saying they have some crazy defense, but they'll play well enough.
Yeah, Justin Fields, man, I've watched the past 4 Ohio State games, and teams with a decent above average defense, which Northwestern is above average. Indiana looked good. Justin Fields struggles versus good defenses.
Yeah.
I think he's going to drop in the draft. You know what? I hate to say it. I don't think he's going to be an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I think you and I
he'll get drafted high.
He shouldn't be a first-round quarterback anyway.
Huh?
You and I both talked about him not being a first-round quarterback anyway.
Man, this is going to be interesting, because if Ohio State, if he has another bad game.
You think he stays?
No, he won't stay.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm. He won't stay, but I don't think I wouldn't draft him, I'll tell you that. But look, hey, if a guy like Jordan Love can still be a first-round pick, I would still have Justin Fields being a first-round pick.
And I didn't like that that Love pick either last year.
It pissed Aaron Rodgers off. A low key, it's probably why the Packers are so good this year, because they drafted Jordan Love. Isn't that funny how shit like that happens?
Yeah. So we'll have to see those. That's kind of our preview for it. I think you just based off the way we're talking, you can kind of see our picks, but we'll get into our picks here next week, right? Because it will be a January 1st games
exactly.
here. We'll have time to talk about it, but that's just kind of our preview about it, and we'll give you our picks next week about that. All right, last thing we're going to cover today in bowl season now. Bowl season popped right up here. So we're going to give you our top 5 bowl game / national champions of that we've seen of our favorites. Okay. So again, if there was a 1980 game, even like a 2000, I'm an Ohio State fan when they beat Miami. I'm not old enough to remember everything fully. I was 7 years old at that time. So again, that's where I'm at with that. So Brandon, I'll let you go first. Top 5 bowl games or national championships.
All right, number 5. I remember this game like it was yesterday. Well, it was pretty recent. I'm pretty sure it was 2017 USC Penn State Rose Bowl.
Good game.
52
302 shout out.
Dude, 52-49. That game, that was one of the most exciting games I think I've ever watched. It was so back and forth. And yes, there were no defense. I don't care. It was entertaining. Look at this. There were an average of 16 million viewers, and it peaked at 20 million. That is one of the highest rated bowl games ever. It wasn't even a championship game.
Yeah.
In Philadelphia, it broke the record for the highest rated bowl game of all games, including national championship games. That's how good of a game it was. So I just want to read you a list of players who scored touchdowns in that game.
Oh, can I guess?
All right. Yeah, guess.
All right. I'm going to say, what year was it?
2017.
Chris Godwin.
Yes, sir.
Trace McSorley.
Yes.
Gesicki.
Yes.
Either Saquon or Sanders.
It was Saquon. That's Penn State. Now
Darnold.
do USC.
Darnold, was he the quarterback that year?
Yeah, I think so. He didn't score a touchdown. He might have thrown one. I was looking at the score.
Who did USC have? Aguilar?
He did not score.
Oh, all right. Well, that's what I got there. All
right. Well, Barkley had 3 touchdowns. Godwin had 2. McSorley had 1 on the ground. Gesicki had a touchdown. Dude, look at that. I mean, come on now. Godwin, Barkley, Gesicki, McSorley. How did Penn State not win the national championship?
Ohio State.
And then for USC, Ronald Jones, Juju Smith-Schuster. We had some good players in that game.
Really nice. Yeah.
Which is why I had that game 5. That was a great game. Number 4, Florida State over Alabama. I don't know if you remember this national championship game. 34-31. Kelvin Benjamin scored that touchdown with 12 seconds left.
Yeah, I thought Kelvin Benjamin was going to be so good in the NFL.
He's out of shape, man. He's Eddie Lacy 2.0.
He was huge. DBs couldn't get their arms around him.
He was a tight end.
Yeah.
Let's call him what it was. He was not. He's bigger than Evan Ingram. That game, man, I hate Florida State. I hate Florida State. But that was a good game. I wanted Alabama to win, and I usually don't want Alabama to win games. Florida State is a bum program. I hate them. Moving on. Number 3, Clemson, Alabama, national championship, 35 Clemson, 31 Alabama, Hunter Renfrow touchdown. We all can admit that game was amazing. I mean, I don't have to really talk about this a whole lot because everyone watched it. Great game. Number 2, throwback to when I was a kid, Texas, USC, 41-38, famous Vince Young walk-off touchdown. I remember staying up for that game. I don't get to – when I was a kid, that was 2006, school and everything. My parents didn't really let me stay up a whole lot for sporting events. But this one, it's a national championship, so I got to stay up. Guess what? Texas won in a thriller. I will always remember that game. And number 1, it's not even a national championship game, but come on. Boise State, Oklahoma, 2007 Fiesta Bowl, 43-42. Fun fact, Oklahoma was a 7.5-point favorite. Boise State won, covered, Statue of Liberty. Damn, that was a hell of a game. That was like Boise State's coming out party.
All right. Well, Brandon and I do have a lot of similar ones here, but not all of them. So I'm going to say number 5, and it is honestly my favorite because it's my favorite team, but I went the whole playoff run. So number 5 is the 2015 college football playoffs. Their Ohio State,
Oregon.
Zeke's coming out party, even though he did have a good year that year all around. But, he went off against Alabama. Now, that was a great game, actually, 42-35. And actually, there was that big Michael Thomas touchdown on a trick play there. Spencer threw to him. Great play, toe tap, Mr. Slant, getting it done. And then, obviously, the Oregon game was just dominant all around. It was just fun to beat especially Mariota Heisman year. A lot of people had them picked. Ohio State shouldn't even be in there. Boom, they won it all. Number 4, like Brandon said, the '06 Rose Bowl there with Texas 41, USC 38. USC having Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush. For those youngins that don't really know, those two together in college were like
A
the
problem.
best duo ever in
Yeah.
college football. Okay. Vince Young had 200 yards rushing, 267 yards passing
Holy
in
hell.
that game. So again, big moment there, last second touchdown, like Brandon said. 2018 Alabama versus Georgia is my number 3 game, the Tua game. I wanted Georgia to win so bad, so I think that's why it was so, because obviously you just want to see Bama lose, right? At times, I liked what Georgia was doing there. Georgia actually scores in overtime, this overtime game, on a field goal. Hot Rod now with the Colts there. And then obviously the Devontae Smith pass we just talked about and catch with Tua there to walk it off. I thought that was Alabama's best national championship game for the move they make sitting Jalen Hurts for Tua. That takes some balls for a guy that was a Heisman Trophy contender 2 years later, as well as in the NFL right now, balling. Then I have, like Brandon said, the Clemson Alabama national championship game, that Hunter Renfrow pick play there for the touchdown. Awesome to see. That was kind of Deshaun Watson's last stamp on college football there before he made his exit, and now doing well in the NFL. And then lastly, like Brandon said, kind of like he said, remember staying up. Boise versus Oklahoma, Statue of Liberty play. You go out and play football on the street or wherever with your buddies. You always mess around with that play. Awesome stuff. Hey, do you know who was on that Oklahoma team too, Brandon?
2007. Sam Bradford?
Adrian Peterson. Okay.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah. So pretty good player in that game, Hall of Famer on the other squad. And guess what? I couldn't tell you who scored the touchdown for Boise or the quarterback was that night, but I could
It
tell
was
you
number 41, I think.
on
But
Oklahoma.
I don't
And he
know.
threw
I
the
don't
ball
know.
into the stands, brother. You keep that ball. That
I
goes to the
know.
base at Boise. Now some fans probably selling it on eBay for millions of dollars.
That game was
So,
something else. I remember everyone was like, Boise State has no shot. Yo, the balls it takes to run this Statue of Liberty right there. Whoo!
hey, you're in a situation against a team like that, no one questions that.
Didn't they
Right?
go for 2? Wasn't it for 2? They went for 2.
Yeah, I think so. And then the honorable mention game for me, I love some Teddy Bridgewater at Louisville. Okay. When they beat Florida as 14 and a half dogs in that
Mm.
Sugar Bowl. And there's a famous play at the beginning. Florida dominated really, really early. They even knocked Teddy Bridgewater's helmet off on a tackle. That's how hard they hit him. He ended up balling in that game. Louisville ended up winning, I want to say by 10 over number 3 Florida, who was a snub for the national championship there. So that's what I got for that. All right, everybody. Well, that is it for today. Again, happy holidays. My name's
Merry
Nick.
Christmas, happy holidays. I'm Brandon.
And again, make sure you watch our pick show week 16. I have some good picks on there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday games this week. And again, we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
See you.